Hello and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode on GTA 5 with a Batmobile. Now, these are very cool vehicles and they can punt the FailRace police department out of the way rather well. However, this time around, the player decides to go for a little bit of car keepy-uppies and actually does a pretty good job, managing to bounce it a few times, roll it over, spin it around and continue to carry it along the road. It's not bad. It's not bad. Ada is up next on GTA 5 with the car that decides it's just had enough of all sorts of physics and is just going to spin and roll around. Yeah, that's definitely not right. We've seen cars that don't want to stop rolling on Forza games before. When the player gets out of the car, it's fine though. It's very odd. Beanbox is up next on Horizon 5 with, first of all, some very weird lighting. It goes into photo mode and it's incredibly bizarre lighting, which is actually kind of a cool effect. I wish they'd messed around in that with that sort of lighting effect a bit more. However, when they load back in, what on earth has happened to the trees? That's definitely not how the world should look. The clip does end, sadly. I know with the game crap, but that's very, very strange. This is really, really weird. We're on to Horizon 4 next with a speedrun. Now, I know what you're expecting to see. Speedrunning car down here, AI vehicles doing something weird and causing the player problems. Now, I've seen a lot of various issues go on. This time, though, the speedrun gets ruined by a bus and said car pushed through the floor. Yep. Bus getting in the way, not unusual. Car through the floor, that is a little bit more unusual. Turbo Bricked up next on Project Cars 2 is racing around the classic Mercedes race car with their friend in a Ford pickup. The Ford gets things a little bit wrong, loses the back end, goes for a spin, the Merc can't slow down, and it's a wonderful, glorious punt. It's so elegantly done. The roll, you probably couldn't do it better if you tried on that one. But yeah, Mercedes just couldn't quite slow down in time. So off rolls the Ford. We're on to Art of Rally next with a relatively high-speed section coming up here. The player just gets things a little bit wrong, clips, I don't know, a sort of mound of dirt and then bounces off a hay bale. They are very, very bouncy hay bales, that one. It was, I know, the smallest of errors, but bouncy hay bale led to I think it's a Citroen they're driving here, or Citroen-like car, being flung off the circuit. It gets reset, can carry on, but of course, that has ruined the run. Sparks up next on Automotive Blister 2 is racing at Daytona, a kind of a multi-class race they have going on here. They get a good start, if you like. They're up to the lead of the race, get a little bit of a twitch through turn 1, gets a bump from one car, tries to recover, gets sideswiped by another, and then everything goes very badly wrong for them, tumbling around all over the place, and there is just general mayhem over here. So yeah, I mean, the player goes a little bit wide as they try to kind of rejoin the circuit. It spins, it pirouettes, they bounce over some cars. I don't think they got hit a second time. I think it just got launched from the bounce. This is on board. I think a DPI car further back actually goes underneath the tumbling F1 car. It's just a big mess at Daytona. We're on to Battlefield 5 with that K-Truck up next, and boats not really knowing how to physics. I mean, not massively surprised that... yeah, boats making contact, not a great thing. Boats getting then stuck together, that's a much worse thing. Boats become planes briefly, that's definitely not how physics works. And then boats not really being boats anymore. It's definitely better just to leave that section. We move on to Cyberpunk next. Now, we've seen all sorts of issues with cars being delivered to the player, them doing strange things. We've seen cars just drive off, we've seen cars do stoppies, we've seen cars park and balance on their nose. But this time around, which is continuing the trend, just getting more spectacular each time, car decides to do a double, triple front flip. Oh dear. That is a hell of a flip going on there. Motorstorm up next on Sniper Elite 5 with some elite stunt drivers. I don't know quite why you need your truck to be on two wheels, but it was a good piece of driving, actually. Avoided everything. They got through there fine. Spade Tales up next on the long drive. They have stopped to explore a building, as you do regularly on this game. They're using a bus, which has been infiltrated by a rabbit. The rabbit, well, it tried to steal the bus, kind of. I didn't know the rabbit could actually get up the stairs of that one. That's a terrifying thought if you happen to use a bus in this game. However, yeah, it can. Tried to steal a bus, ran into, I guess, the window and died. Now, there is another problem, though. Said rabbit is stuck. It has impaled itself on the bus and, yeah, doesn't really want to move. So, you gotta love the commitment. You've got to love the commitment there. We are sticking with the long drive, and Kel's Raise up next in a Skoda that has the modded V8 engine, which makes it very, very fast, although it's a little bit too fast, in fact. You see, the loot, whatever collection of stuff they have in the front of the car, is going too quickly for the game to quite process how to deal with it. The snake managing to glitch about is causing problems, an oil can pings out, and then physics decides the car should go for a double backflip. And the best thing, though, lands with a big wheelie, you're perfectly fine, can carry on. Yeah, that's a downside of the very high-powered V8s. And finally, we have a Mega on the long drive, also loading into a new game with the worst possible start. Now, I've had a tree spawn in the building once, but it was not really of any inconvenience. This is a much bigger problem. This is just going to become the long walk, because there is no way you are getting that car out of there. There is no... I mean, the player can still get out. I don't know whether the rock could completely block the player in the initial room. I guess in theory it could, depending on how it spawned in. I mean, this is something that can happen with randomly generated games, of course. Things like this do occur occasionally. It's just unlikely, and that's just it is the worst. It is just completely the worst. Yeah. Even if by some miracle you got the car out of the rock, the door is completely blocked. I guess the only thing you could do is, if you were trying to play this game, would be grab the broom from down the well and hope that you could make it from building to building until you found a complete car somewhere. Because, yeah, that's a really bad start. I guess the sensible thing would be to restart the game and everything. It's not supposed to be like this, but still, that is quite impressive. It is quite impressive how very, very broken that one is. Yeah, that is a new one. Well, it is going to be a short drive for them. They're not going to be going anywhere. That, though, is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There should be a link to it in the description of this video. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.